Hello everyone, and welcome to the first introductory video in a series of crochet tutorials. And today I'm going to be teaching you one of the most basic and essential crochet stitches which you'll use in just about any pattern you will ever make, and that is called the single crochet. So just before we get started, in case you don't know anything about crochet, really all you need is some yarn and a hook. And as far as determining what kind of size yarn, which is called the weight, and what size hook you need, it's pretty easy because when you purchase skeins of yarn, this is called a skein, in the store there's typically that kind of plasticky paper binding, and it'll say what kind of weight the yarn is, and the weight of a yarn can range anywhere from 2 to maybe 6 or 7 or 8 in bulk. For example, this one is a little bit bulkier, probably about a 5 if I had to guess. And then on that paper binding it will also recommend a crochet hook size. So I mean, once you get more experienced you can kind of pick and choose as you'd like. This one right here, not sure if you can see that, but this is letter M crochet hook, and it is a 9mm. So yeah, this one's very big. It's easier to work with bigger when you are starting because it's easier to see the stitches. For instance, here's a much smaller crochet hook, which is a 3.5mm, also known as an E, if you can see the comparison here. So, and you'll get more experience with that, but yeah, definitely if you're starting out, go bigger rather than smaller. So before we get started with the crocheting, I just want to explain the concept of a single crochet. Say you're making a scarf or a, I don't know, a washcloth or something kind of rectangular or square shaped. The concept of a single crochet is you make what's called a chain, and that'll be your first row, right? And then from this first row, we're going to go up one and go back, and then go up one and go back, and up and back and back and back, and then that is how you make a piece of crochet. So now that you kind of have an idea what's going on, let's get started. So the very first thing you need to know how to do is to create a slip stitch, or sorry, a slip knot, and I will show you right here a couple times. So first, take your yarn, this is the end, and we're going to take our finger right here, wrap it around once, wrap it around twice, okay? And you can kind of tuck it down here, just hold it at the bottom. We're going to take this first one, pull it over the second, right? And take the second one again, and pull it all the way over your finger. Pull it tight, and you've got a little knot. And this knot, it's a slip knot because you can pull it and it comes free. So one more time, we're going to have this end here, wrap it once, wrap it twice, hold it down at the bottom here, pull the first over this one, and this one, all the way around your finger, and pull it tight. So then this part is actually going to go right on your hook, and you can tighten a little bit, but try to keep your stitches a little bit loose. There's a fine line, and you'll get better at it. It's definitely a work in progress with crochet, and I've been doing this for 8 years, so don't be discouraged if it takes a couple tries. So the first chain, which is our first row, I will teach you how to do that stitch. Very, very simple. So we've got our hook here with our slip knot on the hook. We're going to grab this yarn with the hook. We're going to turn the hook down, and we are going to pull this yarn through that first loop, and you'll see it kind of looks like a chain. So we're going to do that over and over until you get to your desired length of your piece. So now we're going to grab, turn down, pull through. Again, grab, turn down, and pull it through. So we've got 3 so far. Grab, turn down, pull through, and again. And yeah, again, keep it pretty loose. So we're just going to keep going here and do as many as you would like, but we'll just do something small. So maybe, yeah, we'll stop here. So this is how long our chain is. So now we are going to count from this end, starting with this one, the second stitch. So this, although we've got our loop on our hook, we're going to ignore that. This is the first stitch, right where my finger is here, and then this is the second one. So keep in mind where this is. Put your fingers on it if you'd like, just so you remember. We're actually going to flip the piece around, so this way, and all the way around. So if that was a little bit confusing, you're going to essentially just flip it all the way around. Do a 360, but just keep in mind we're going into that second stitch, which, yeah, here's this first one, and here's the second one. So now we are going to stick the hook into the second stitch, and it looks a little bit messy in the first row, it's okay, but once we got the hook in there, we're going to loop it, loop the yarn on your hook, turn down, pull it through, kind of like a chain, and then we've got these two here on your hook, so you're going to loop again, turn down, and pull through both this time. And you can tighten it if you'd like, but that is your first single crochet. So again, another single crochet. We're going to go through this next stitch, grab the yarn, turn down, pull it through. We've got two on here, so now we're going to grab the yarn, turn down, and pull through both. Got another single crochet. Alright, third one, go through, grab the yarn, turn down, pull through, grab more yarn, turn down, pull through both. Alright, I'll just keep doing a few more, keep watching, and feel free to pause the video, rewind, watch again and again. Again, took 7 years. And we've got a couple more. Also, the very first row is always the messiest, and it's always the hardest to make it look nice. So, fret not. Alright, so that was the last stitch. If you want to take a look here, this is what we are working with. And so yeah, like I had explained before, we essentially do one row, we go up, do one, up, one, up, one. So that's the concept. So for this next one, and this is kind of the same motion of turning your work, so you can get a better view of it here, but we're going to chain one, and then we're going to turn it this way. So one more time. We had ended here, we chained one up, and then we turn our work this way. Alright, so then with single crochets, you can pretty clearly see the stitches here, and you'll get better at pointing these out, but we've got a stitch here, a stitch here, a stitch here, 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 etc. So the very first one, we chained from that stitch, so it's like we already did a stitch here, and if you do an extra one in this first one, then your work is going to have an extra stitch in every single row, so rather than being like a perfect rectangle, it's going to start going outward, and you're going to have like a weird looking trapezoidal figure. So to avoid that, when you chain it, we're going to skip this first one. So it's almost like we're skipping two stitches, but we don't go in this one, we don't go in this one, but we go into this one. So let's do a single crochet, stick the hook in, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through both. Okay, now we just keep going. Single crochet. Alright, so we've reached the end of our next row. So next, same thing as before. We are going to take the hook, chain one, grab the yarn, turn down, pull through, and that's our chain. Flip your work, And then again, remember, we've got a chain in this stitch already, so it's like we've already got a stitch there. Don't want to do it again, don't want to get our work to be increasing. So we're going to go into this stitch and single crochet. Stick the hook in, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over again, pull through both. So I'll just create a little time lapse of me crocheting, and then I'll show you what it's going to look like in the end. Alright, so I think we've got enough here so that you kind of get the idea, but yeah, as you can see, it is very important to keep track of your number of stitches, and because if you don't have the exact same stitches as when you started, again, if you have too many, it'll start going like outward, and if you have too few, it'll start going inward. And yeah, if you need to try it again, do not get discouraged. I promise, once you get the hang of crochet, it's really not much where you have to learn, and you can do just about any pattern. And yeah, it's one of my favorite pastimes for sure, because you can do it just while you're watching TV or, you know, listening to music. It's really, really nice and therapeutic in my opinion. But also another tip, if you want to make sure you're keeping the same number of stitches, you can count how many you start with, and then every couple of rows, maybe recount, see if you've got the same number. And if you see that you're decreasing a lot, you might want to go back and see where you might have messed up. But yeah, so basically for applying this knowledge here, if you want to make a scarf, you can make it a little bit wider and then just keep going forever until you have your desired length. Really anything you want. A lot of what you are going to be making from patterns will be based on this concept of single crochet. So besides that, if you need to rewatch the video to understand, feel free, but I think that is all I have for you, and this is the single crochet. Thanks for watching!